Hey, we're The Warning, and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
I am so excited to be reuniting with you guys. The last record Air was amazing, but this new album, Keep Me Fed, just put you on a whole new tier of rock band. This is like stadium rock band sound. So congratulations with this new album.
Thank you so much. It's a lot. We're very excited.
Yes. From start to finish, this album is full of just insane vocals, insane drums, insane bass, guitars, everything. It's just a perfect mix of everything that you have evolved to become. Now, I'm curious, like, what it's been like to create this record, just because, like I said, the evolution just feels so insane.
Thank you very much. The process for recording and writing this record was absolutely chaotic, very wild. In between tours, especially the recording, we would just like record a little bit, go on tour, come back, and then record the rest of it, and just kind of like and keep writing on the on the go.
It was just a mix of writing sessions and touring, and it was very discombobulated overall. But since we had very little time to do this, like we were very focused in getting the best song possible the day that we were writing it. So I feel like that put us in a very different mindset of like, we have to do the best thing ever today because we don't have more time.
Exactly.
So it pushed us to like
pour our hearts out.
Yeah.
Completely.
But I feel like the fact that you were on the road doing, like, you're living the life and you're creating a new album. So I feel like that really inspired this whole sound to be like a stadium rock band. Like, I feel like you getting off the stage to write something or record a vocal or record a track, like I felt like that had such a big impact on this process.
For sure, I think you can hear the chaoticness in the music
and that we had in mind. Like, we want this album to sound huge when we play it live.
Nailed it. What was it like collaborating with Anton as producer? I know he went to Mexico for a couple of these tracks, but what was that process like? And you went from David to Anton. How different was that?
Very different in the sense that they're different people.
If they're different people, and not only like them as producers,
like
but the situation was completely different. With David, we had all the time in the world. We took 3 months to record it. Not to write it, to record it. That's insane. Like, I think about it right now, and like
wow.
3 months. Wow. Yeah. And with Anton, I recorded drums in a day and a half.
The whole thing.
Like, I was just like, go. And with Anton, we met him during a writing session. He was just supposed to be a writer that we were going to work with. We wrote Sick. And then after that, we were like, oh, let's write more. Oh my God.
Yeah, we wrote more.
We wrote more. And then after that, we were like, Anton and us, like, we were just clicking so much.
He understood a creative vision.
And
really well.
He was down to come to Mexico to produce and record the whole album, which was a very big thing for us because we had very little time to be home and we had to record this album. So we were able to mix that, like, being home and recording at the same time. So Anton came to Mexico and we recorded it in our hometown.
That was so special.
It was incredible. And Anton is such an incredible, like, first of all, person. He's just amazing, but also an incredible producer. He was able to really get the best out of us in like such a small amount of time. And the way that we wrote together just really translated in the way that we produced together and recorded together.
And he did make us like let loose a little bit more. Yeah. We were just like, hey, chill out. You don't have to, I know, but just like sing, just do your thing.
And at the same time, pushing us so much. Yes. Like we did things that we have never done before. Like we were definitely pushed outside of our comfort zone in so many ways. But he managed to do it in a way where I didn't feel like I was gonna die.
Yeah. It was exciting. We're like, let's
do it.
Figure out how to do it.
Yeah, that evolution is insane. And Pao, I feel like one, you got an even bigger drum kit or drum set because that's the sound that I get. And two, you've evolved into this drumming beast. Like, the drums are like insane on this record as well. Like, Talk to me, you mentioned challenges and stepping out of that comfort zone, but what was one of those moments that you really stepped out of comfort zone for this album?
I feel like, well, first of all, thank you. And I do feel very proud of the drums on this album because when we were writing, just like the three of us, especially when we were writing like our parts, we were like we always did things that we knew that we could play. Yeah. I don't know how to explain that, but you did things inside your own limits and your comfort zones. And some of the times when we were writing these songs, I wasn't on the drums. Like we would just have like a little drum pad and we would do with it there. And we would put these crazy fills like, oh yeah, sure. Like we'll deal with it later. And then it was time to record them. And I was like, oh my God, like how am I actually supposed to do that? And I found out that I have like these sleeping unconscious abilities. Like I was able to do everything. I just had to like actually like challenge myself to actually do it. And when you have somebody else writing these parts with you, it really pushes you to try all these new things before saying me like, no, I can't play it.
Exactly. Yeah.
One of my favorite songs on this album is Sharks. It's huge. It's such a huge track, especially like the intro of it is just massive. Ale, I feel like this was your opportunity to just go hard on that bass. Talk to me a little bit about, you know, you stepping out of comfort zone and how did you put your pieces into this track?
Oh, so Sharks, it was a really interesting song because Pau started it like a really long time ago, and she had the riff like that sounds like sharks. That's why it's called Sharks. And honestly, it was like really stepping out of my comfort zone. It doesn't sound as hard as it is to play because like the rhythmics of it is so weird, and it's so hard to like play it like tightly on time, like the three of us. Even like sometimes it's even harder to play like the three of us, but like even recording it with just like a click track was like, it was so hard. It's so hard to like groove correctly to the song. Still practicing, but it was like it's honestly like a really hard song to play live. And it was really interesting to record it because like Dany recorded first. Actually, we had Anton did take us out of our comfort zone, and we recorded like guitars first, then bass, then drums.
Then vocals,
and then drums. When usually we recorded drums, bass, guitar, and vocals. So I did not have like the actual drums there to record with. So I had the guitar, so I had to match Dany, and it was just like a really different experience for me to try and like match like what Dany did with the click. So it was just
I mean, you did have a drum.
You have the drum.
Like I had a drum beat, but like it's still different. It's still very different. But I feel like Sharks is such a different song for us in general, and it's
musically it's just
it's so different, but it's so different. Cool. And when we play live, like when we
get it correct, when we have time to rehearse it, it'll be like the best on live for sure.
I love that the song Burnout you co-wrote with Sam Hollander, who's more of a pop writer. Dany, I'm curious how that impacted your vocals, that, you know, having a pop writer in the room with you instead of more of like a rock metal type of guy.
You know, for sure. Working with Sam was super interesting. Oh my God, his mind works in amazing ways. Just like keeping up with him, like trying to keep up with him. We're like, whoa. Because especially also vocally a lot, like in the top line, he thinks about a lot of tiny things that you wouldn't even like think about, like in rhyme schemes or in like little notes.
Pop writers are insane in that sense. Like they've taken, top lining is very important, especially like in pop. So when you bring that into a rock area, it's very complex, more complex than you would think.
Yeah, and I remember when that one came out and Sam just sung it and we're just like,
that's it.
Yes, that's it. And actually we were working with him through Zoom.
Yes. Anton was in the room with us in Monterrey, and Sam was through
Zoom. So that was a whole other experience as well. But I think that's one of the songs that like flowed super fast. We finished it in like 3 hours, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 hours. And you think, 2 hours is a lot, but we're talking about like the whole track. Guitar, bass, drums, like everything.
Everything was
there. Sam is great.
Yes.
Would you say that impacted like the way that you think about songwriting now, when it's like maybe for more tracks on this album or maybe just like moving forward? Do you feel that it did anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like with every writing session that we had, each person that we worked with had their own like
way of doing things,
and like rules for them on what would be a good song. So you start looking at all of these points of views and what they consider a must in songwriting, and you start incorporating that in your own way. And sometimes it's like, oh, you know what, we have too many ands on this thing, or like we have too many like same consonants or whatever.
It's funny when you actually like think instead of like the songs they wrote and you listen to them and you hear it, like you hear their minds and like, what they worked on. It's weird, but
so and you start hearing it in your own music and how you incorporate it. So you start becoming, I feel like being a musician is all about learning from other musicians and how you make it your own. So you start becoming this little weird Frankenstein of every other person's like little
this
tips,
big mixing pot of everyone.
And it's great. It definitely influenced us.
I love that you also still put a little taste of your roots with ¿Qué Mas Quieres? And Dany, ya tienes voz de rockstar en inglés y en español. ¿Cómo se te hace ahora comparar las dos cuando estás cantando en dos diferentes idiomas para el mismo disco?
Do you want me to answer in English or Spanish?
However you want.
A little bit of pocho. We can mix and match.
There we go. Let's do it.
Singing ¿Qué Mas Quieres? Was super hard. But obviously we love having español in our songs because it's who we are. We love to share this. We love to share our culture this way. And hearing it live, like now that we performed it, everyone's screaming like, dime, ¿qué más quieres?
It's fantastic. I remember
fantastic.
Cuando lo estábamos grabando y estábamos, es nuestra oportunidad de hablar tantito español en una de esas cosas.
Por favor.
Sí. Entonces cuando lo estábamos grabando, acabamos de grabar ¿Qué Más Quieres? Fue una de las últimas canciones que grabamos, las voces. Y, o sea, tuvimos que tomarnos mucho tiempo, porque Dany, o sea, la posición en la que tienes que poner tipo tu paladar y tu garganta para cantar en inglés es muy diferente a la que usas para cantar en español. Entonces de repente hay unas canciones, unas palabras que escuchaba
escondidas.
Sí, no. Y era de que, no. Pero estábamos trabajando con Anton y Anton sabe que es que para mí se escucha normal esa palabra. Yo, Anton, no entiendes, la está pronunciando mal. Entonces, obviamente, sí hay un cambio muy diferente. Siento que ahorita que ya está grabada y ya la cantas en vivo, ya es el switch.
No, porque puedo hablar español perfectamente bien y no se me deshace. Pero estoy tan acostumbrada así a cantar en la posición del inglés redondo acá que el español es mucho más tajante.
Pero bueno, se logró. Y es una parte muy importante de nosotros musicalmente, poder compartir nuestra cultura, nuestro idioma. Entonces, afortunadamente, se logró de una manera muy especial con ¿Qué Más Quieres?
No, fue un éxito y me encanta que la agregaron en este álbum. Now, you know, as far as all the other tracks on this record, which one would you say like was the biggest challenge to either write, record, or just finalize, and why?
Consume.
That was quick.
Hell You Call, I forgot about that. Hell You Call It Dream was
the lyrics were
like we were already recording vocals and we did not have the song finished.
We didn't
have like a chorus.
We didn't have the tagline.
Like not even the title.
Because like the whole chorus and I think the bridge as well, it was all different. Yeah. Like we kept the lyrics of the verses.
Yeah,
that
was nice.
The whole concept of the chorus was different. And the day, like we were in the studio.
To cry.
We were recording vocals and we were just waiting for like
stressful.
When we recorded like the vocals for How You Call a Dream, and we were all just like
we were outside in like the parking lot of the studio, just kind of like
in complete silence.
And like even Anton was like,
what are we
gonna do?
And we wrote the song with Dan and Curtis here in LA, and then. So we were texting them as well while we were writing, like, Curtis, Dan, like, we'll always come up with something. So it was a very big team effort to get that song, like,
complete.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
I forgot, like,
that was so stressful.
I feel like it was so stressful that my brain was just like, you don't need to remember that. Forget about it.
I know, and Consume as well, we just went through so many different versions of it.
And it was very, monotone. I don't know how to say that in English.
It all sounded like
very
the same.
Like there was like no dynamic.
Monotonous.
Dynamic,
yeah.
For sure.
So, but we made it work. We made it work.
That's awesome. Yeah, this album is incredible. Keep Me Fed is incredible. I can't wait for this North American tour. You guys are doing a world tour for this, basically. So what excites you most about these upcoming tour dates?
Well, definitely playing these songs live.
We haven't,
especially the ones that are not the singles that haven't took longer to come out. So yeah, and touring with it. We're heading to Europe
in a week.
Yeah, we're just gonna be
well,
we're gonna be in Europe.
Yes.
We're gonna be in Europe for a month and a half, and then we're touring the US for all of September. And then we're doing Canada with Evanescence and Hailstorm in November.
And then next, I can't believe we're talking about next year. But in 2025, we have our biggest headlining shows
in Mexico
ever. We're doing Mexico City, Auditorio Nacional, 2 dates, 10,000 tickets each.
Nice.
Like, it's just insane for us to think about that.
And
like 20,000 people. And they're sold out.
That's insane.
That's really crazy. And we're also doing a very big show in Monterrey and Guadalajara. That's our country. Then we also have very big shows in Europe now. We have one in the UK. It's Brixton. It's the O2 Academy. I don't know.
So. But we're like up in
Paris
the cap.
And Germany.
And Germany.
Yeah. But like there are bigger rooms
each time.
I
feel like we take it for granted that every time we tour, we upgrade venues. Every time we tour, we need a like higher cap.
That's insane.
And that's very crazy. Like we are very lucky to have that type of growth and to be able to, and with this new album, to be able to share it with more people each time. That is just very, very amazing.
Thank you to everyone that goes to see us
and buys the tickets. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And to close us off, because 2025 is already planned out in your schedule, here's a challenge. 2025, I need to see The Warning either at the Kia Forum or at SoFi Stadium. So please, let's make it happen.
I always love a good manifesting session.
Yeah.
Sure. Do I find it highly unlikely? But you know what? If that's what you're thinking,
hey,
manifest with us.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sure.
We're gonna make it
down. I'm gonna put
we're gonna make it happen. There we go. Mandatory. All the fans are gonna be like, we're gonna make this happen. So congratulations already. And I'm super excited to see you guys again. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.